Dear students, today's topic of my lecture, Ray Optics and Optical Instruments, Chapter 9, Part 2. And in this Part 2 of the Ray Optics, what you have to learn that you can see here, real and apparent depth of a liquid, then apparent shift, after that total internal reflection, then we will discuss relation between critical angle and refractive index, and at last applications of total internal reflection. And these applications are mirage, optical fiber and prism, of course diamond, that we have to discuss. So one by one we have to discuss the topics. So first one is real and apparent depth. So first of all, we must understand the concept of real and apparent depth. After that we have to calculate the expression for apparent depth. So an object is placed in a denser medium, and when seen from a rarer medium, it appears to be at a depth which is less than its real depth. And this phenomena occurs on account of reflection of light. And you see that here in the diagram, O is the object which is placed in denser medium, then OP is its real depth, and PI is its apparent depth. So how this happens, that you understand like that, you see that in the figure, the ray of light that start from the object placed in denser medium, that is from point O, and incident on the interface XY which separate the two medium, and passes straight along PP dash. Another ray which incident along OQ, that makes an angle I which is equal to OQ and dash, that is the angle I. And the angle of refraction, because the ray of light which OQ incident onto the interface, it travel from denser to rarer medium, so the ray is reflected along QR, makes an angle of refraction R with normal NQ and S. Then the angle R which is equal to angle RQN. Since PO and Q and S, they are parallel, and OQ is a transversal line. Therefore, for the incident ray OQ, angle of incidence I, which is equal to angle OQ and S, and angle of refraction, that is small r, equal to angle RQN. Since since PO and Q and S are parallel and OQ is the transversal line, therefore angle POQ, that is equal to angle OQ and S, which is equal to angle of incidence. Now similarly, what happens when the ray refracted along QR, but the image of the object O can be formed only when the refracted ray QR is extended in back direction. So it meet to the first ray OP at point I. Then I is the virtual image of the object O. Then this Pi, that is the apparent depth. Similarly, we can say that IP dash and Qn are parallel. Therefore, the angle QIP dash equal to angle RQN, which is equal to angle of refraction. So now in right angle triangle QPO, find out sin I. Sin I equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So we will get QP upon OQ, that is sin I. Similarly, we take the right angle triangle IPQ and find the sin R. Then sin R is QP upon IQ. Then according to the Snell's law, refractive index of air with respect to the water, that can be written as sin I upon sin R, but sin I is QP upon OQ and sin R is QP upon IQ. So substitute these values here and simplify it. Then QP upon OQ into IQ upon QP, and this QP and this QP get cancelled. We will get IQ upon OQ. Now since the size of the pupil is very small, therefore the image can be seen only when Q is very close to P. When Q is very close to P. Therefore Q is approximately equal to P. So the equation that becomes W mu A equal to, in place of Q we have to write P, IP upon OP, and this IP is apparent depth, OP is real depth. So that's why refractive index of air with respect to the water, which becomes apparent depth upon real depth. Or we can say that the refractive index of water with respect to air, which is equal to OP upon IP, that is the reciprocal of refractive index of air with respect to water. So that's why A mu W equal to OP upon IP equal to real depth upon apparent depth. Now from here, the apparent depth equal to real depth upon A mu W, that is the refractive index of water with respect to air. So this is the expression for apparent depth. Now we have to calculate normal shift. For that purpose, you can see the diagram. Here we are taking an object which is placed in the denser medium, that is in the water, at point O, and the ray of light travel from the point O, that is the first ray, which incident normally onto the surface which separate the two medium and passes straight, and another ray which incident at an certain angle of incidence, say angle I. Then the ray get refracted as it moving from denser to rarer, so it move away from the normal, making angle of refraction small r, and extend this refracted ray on back side, meet the first refracted ray at point I. Then I is the virtual image of the object O. Then the distance from the top of the water level to the image I is the apparent depth, and from the top of the water level in this vessel to the object, this is the real depth. Then the difference between these two depths, that is real and apparent depth, that will give you the apparent shift or normal shift. So that's why we say that the apparent shift of the object is equal to real depth minus apparent depth. That is small hr minus small ha. But ha that we have already calculated, which is equal to real depth upon refractive index of water with respect to air. So we have to write in place of ha hr upon a mu w, and then hr we have to take common from here. So what you will get, apparent shift equal to hr minus ha equal to hr outside the bracket 1 minus 1 upon a mu w. So this is the expression for the apparent shift. Means by this shift, the object appears to rise in denser medium when seen from rarer medium. Some important points that you have to remember it. If observer is in the rarer medium and object is in the denser medium, then HA, that is apparent depth, is always less than real depth. And to a bird, the fish appears to be nearer than its actual depth. Similarly, second point you have to remember, if observer is in the denser medium and object is in the rarer medium, then in that condition the apparent depth is greater than the real depth. For example, for to a fish, the bird appears to be farther than its actual height. So these 2 points you have to remember when you solve numericals as well as some conceptual problems. Now total internal reflection. Total internal reflection, which we also call TIR, is the phenomena of complete reflection of light back into the same medium for angles of incidence greater than the critical angle for the pair of media in contact. So for that purpose, we take here two medium, one is rarer, another one is denser. Here we are considering the rarer medium is air and the denser medium is glass. So their refractive index are mu A and mu J. Now we place an object in the denser medium, then the ray of light which incident on this interface which separate the two medium, then it passes straight. So a ray of light which incident on this interface from the object placed in denser medium, and when this ray of light incident normally on this interface then passes straight, another ray which incident makes an angle say I, and when it is incident onto the interface, then what happens, then it get refracted, and this refraction makes the refracted ray away from the normal. So you can see here further, this is the denser medium which is glass, and this is rarer medium which is air, and this line is the interface which separate the two medium. Object is placed in the denser medium at point O, then a ray of light which incident normally on the interface along OA which passes straight along AB. Another ray of light which incident along OA1 makes a certain angle with the normal, say angle of incidence. Then the ray is refracted along A1B1, makes angle of refraction with normal. So from here, if we increase the angle of incidence, then angle of refraction also increases. In the second ray of light, you see that it incident along A2 and the refracted ray is A2B2, means it move away from the normal mode. So this angle of refraction is more. So as we are increasing the angle of incidence, then angle of refraction also increases. So at a particular angle of incidence, say I equal to IC, that is critical angle. The angle of refraction, which is 90 degree, means the ray is refracted along A3, B3, grazing along to the interface. Then the angle of incidence corresponding to which angle of refraction is 90 degree for the pair of media in contact is called its critical angle. Now further we increase the angle of incidence, that is greater than critical angle, then the refracted ray, which is along A4, B4, that refract in the same medium. So when the path of ray of light changes in the same medium, that is the reflection of light. So that's why we say that if the ray of light from the denser medium incident at an angle greater than its critical angle, that the ray of light will reflect completely in the same medium, and that phenomena is known as total internal reflection. Now there are two essential conditions of total internal reflection. The first one is incident ray must travel from optically denser medium, as you have seen. And second condition is that the angle of incidence in the denser medium must be greater than the critical angle for the pair of media in contact. So these are the two essential conditions for the total internal reflection. Now we have to find out the relation between the critical angle and refractive index. Now as I already told you that the critical angle is the angle of incidence in the denser medium corresponding to which angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90 degree. That is when I equal to IC, then R equal to 90 degree. So we know the formula. The refractive index of air with respect to the water is equal to sin I upon sin R. So when I equal to IC, at that time R equal to 90 degree. So sin 90 degree is 1. So you will get here sin IC. But we have to find out the refractive index of water with respect to air, which is the reciprocal of refractive index of air with respect to water. So that's why A mu W equal to 1 upon W mu A. So therefore A mu W equal to 1 upon sin IC. That is the refractive index of water with respect to air is the reciprocal of sine of angle of incidence. Or we can say that sin IC equal to 1 upon A mu W. Also we can say that sin IC equal to lambda W upon lambda A. That is in terms of the wavelength. Now the red color has the maximum value of the critical angle because the wavelength of the red color is maximum. Whereas critical angle for the violet color has the minimum value as the wavelength of the violet color is minimum. So we have to remember this. Now we know that there is a one more relation between the refractive index and the wavelengths, that is according to the Cauchy's formula, the refractive index is inversely proportional to the wavelength. So that is A mu W equal to A plus B upon lambda square, where A and B are the constant. So that's why this relation can be correlate with the critical angle as sin IC equal to 1 upon A mu W equal to 1 upon A plus B upon lambda square. So this is the relation between the critical angle and refractive index as well as the relation between critical angle and wavelength of light. Now some applications we have to discuss about the total internal reflection, that is the mirage. Mirage is a realistic image of an object that is either totally imaginary or that appears to be in a location other than the true one. In hot areas, the layers of the air near the earth's surface that becomes hotter as comparison to the layers above to the ground. As a result, the upper layer of air that becomes denser. So when the rays from a tree-like object passes from denser to rarer medium, it suffers the total internal reflection. And an observer notices an mirage of the object being formed as if there is a water around. Means during the summer days, as we have seen onto the highways, that some water spot, but when we reaches at that spot, there is no water. So that is because of the total internal reflection, and that phenomena is a mirage formation phenomena, that is optical illusion. Similarly, here one example is taken for a tree, an observer. So what happens during the summer days, the air is hot near to the surface of the earth, so that's why it becomes lighter. So its density is less. Whereas at the upper layer, air becomes cooler, so its density is more, so that's why the medium is denser. So when the ray of light that travel from the top of the tree, then the refractive index starts decreasing since it is moving from denser to rarer. And then total internal reflection takes place. And in that condition, you can see in the figure B, when the observer observe the image of the object like tree, it is just like an object which we observe when we stand at the bank of the pond or the river. So that is optical illusion, and this formation is known as mirage. Second is optical fiber. So nowadays you can see that optical fibers are extensively used for transmitting audio and video signals through long distances. And you can also see that nowadays the online classes are going on, and that is also because of the transmission of audio and video signals from one place to the another place with the help of the optical fibers. And optical fibers, they works on the principle of total internal reflection. So optical fibers are fabricated with high quality composite glass or quartz fibers. Each fiber consists of the core and cladding, and the refractive index of the material of the core is higher than that of the cladding. So the question is arises, what is the core and cladding? You can see here in the diagram, the inner portion of the optical fiber, this is core, and the outer portion, that one is cladding. So refractive index of the core must be greater than the cladding. Then the total internal reflection phenomena takes place. You can see here in the second diagram, the outer portion of the optical fiber is having the low refractive index, that is cladding, and inner portion having the high refractive index, that is core. So the signal that is traveling in denser medium. So optical signal that enters to the optical fiber then it undergo the total internal reflection. Means the signal that entered inside the optical fiber at an angle greater than the critical angle for this pair of media in contact. So this angle is greater than the critical angle, and it optical signal that undergo to the total internal reflection repeatedly. So optical fiber basically works onto the principle of total internal reflection. Another application is prism. Prisms are designed to bend light by 90 degree or 180 degree, make use of total internal reflection as you can see in the figure A and B. Such a prism is also used to invert images without changing their sizes as you can see in equation in figure C. In the first two cases, the critical angle IC for the material of the prism must be less than 45 degree, and that comes around 41 degree to 43 degree. So that's why you see that here the ray diagrams of the objects which suffers total internal reflection when the ray of light passes through the prism. This is AB object is placed. So when the ray of light travel from B point and is incident on this surface of the prism, then what happens? It is a normal incidence, so it passes straight. But when this ray of light incident onto the surface of the prism, we can mark it like that: P, Q, and then R. So when the ray of light travels from point B incident on the PQ surface of the prism, which is normal incidence, then passes straight, and incident onto the PR surface of the prism makes an angle 45 degree, and which is greater than the critical angle for the pair of media in contact, that is air and the glass material of prism. Then it go to the internal reflection, and it the ray of light which incident onto the surface QR of the glass prism normally and passes straight. Then it makes the image of the object point B, which is B dash. Similarly, the ray of light which travel from point A of the object incident normally on PQ surface of the glass prism and strike to the PR surface makes an angle greater than critical angle, that is 45 degree. When you draw a normal here, and then this angle is greater than 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle for the pair of media in contact, that is air and glass. Then it undergo to the total internal reflection incident normally on QR surface of prism, then makes the image of point A, that is A dash. Drop the perpendicular or join A dash B dash, which is the image of the object AB. Similarly, in the P diagram, also the same way, same explanation, and similarly the same concept you have to apply in the diagram C. So this is about the prism. Now diamond. In the diamond, the spectacular brilliance, and that is because of the total internal reflection. So diamonds are known for a spectacular brilliance, and their brilliance is mainly due to the total internal reflection of light inside them. The critical angle for the diamond air interface, which is approximately 24.4 degree, is very small. Therefore, once light enters a diamond, it is very likely to undergo multiple total internal reflections inside it. So diamonds found in nature rarely exhibits the brilliance for which they are known. It is the technical skill of a diamond cutter which makes diamonds to spark so brilliantly. By cutting the diamond suitably, multiple total internal reflections can be made to occur. due to which the brilliance takes place in the diamond. As you see in the diagram, the ray of light which enter to the diamond and which is making the angle of incidence greater than critical angle for the diamond air interface media, means the angle of incidence should be greater than 24.4 degree. Then multiple reflections takes place and the brilliance takes place in diamond, and due to the total internal reflection of light. So this is about the applications of the total internal reflection. If you like my video, then like it, subscribe, press the bell icon, stay safe, stay healthy, learn physics with my YouTube channel by staying at home. Thank you and have a nice day.